How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. My name is David Clark, and this is My Old Sled, the channel where we talk about all things classic sleds and motorsports. If you followed me for a while, then you know I typically talk about snowmobiles, especially older sleds, classic sleds. Lately, I've been starting to do some ATV stuff as well. I know a lot of my viewers are into ATVs and motorsports in general, but the other thing, we just haven't had that much snow, so I haven't been riding the sled that much. So the ATV gives me an excuse to keep some content coming your way and keep my throttle thumb in shape. So for today's video, I'm out at the Regal Point elk farm, one of my favorite places in the world, and I'm here to answer a viewer question. So Brian Fasulo asked me if I could do a video about ATVs with tracks. Tracks for your ATV are great, but they definitely have some pros and cons, so we're going to talk about those things after the intro. All right, Regal Point Elk Farm is owned by a friend of mine named Eric. I help out here from time to time. I do a little bit of everything. We've got about 100 elk on the farm, and we've got a pretty substantial maple syrup operation, and I kind of help out with both. Now, if I were a cowboy, or as my friend in Texas likes to call me, a elk boy, then this would be my horse. This beautiful Suzuki King Quad 750 does happen to be set up right now with the Camso T4S Track system, so it's a perfect way to answer your question, Brian. Now, if you've never seen a track system for an ATV before, it's basically like if you took the rear suspensions off of 4 sleds and bolted them on where the wheels go on your ATV. Now, in terms of pros, it's obvious. It's traction. So these tracks are meant to take you anywhere you want to go, including some places where you get seriously bogged down if you only had wheels. Now, one of the things that I found with my ATV that was kind of a nice surprise is it really is a year-round toy. So it's something that I use in the winter as much as in the summer. Now, I've had my Honda Rancher out in, a 1.5 foot of snow, no problem without getting stuck. I use it for plowing snow if you watch my recent video. So, even without a set of tracks, you'll probably find most ATVs, if you've got some decent tires and 4-wheel drive and a good-sized machine, you're not going to get stuck unless you're in really, really deep snow. So when you take a machine with that kind of versatility and then you throw a set of tracks on it, you really have a machine that can go absolutely anywhere you want to go. But you need to think about, are you really going to need that? And there's a couple of reasons for that. And the first one is price. So up in Canada here, you buy even a decent used set of tracks, it can run you like $3,000. So it's a substantial investment if you don't really need it. In addition to the price involved in a set of tracks, you also need to think about how it's going to change the way your machine performs and handles, right? So these things, again, they're built for one thing, and that's traction. So now, instead of that small surface area at the bottom of your wheel, you're pushing this big, huge, flat track against the ground. So it's really going to cut down on the top end speed of your machine. Now, you'll still get some pretty decent speeds out of your machine, especially if you've got a big one like this 750. Tracks are meant for any machine sort of 300 or bigger. But the other real big hit you're going to take is in handling. Now, the front tracks on this one are tapered. That's meant in part to aid with steering effort. But unless you've got arms like Arnold Schwarzenegger, you're still going to find this thing fairly tough to turn, particularly if you're not moving very fast or moving in snow. One of the other advantages to that tapered edge on the track is it's going to direct a lot of debris out away from the machine, because one of the other downsides to a set of tracks, it's going to kick up a lot more slush and mud than you would see off a set of wheels. Now, that difference in handling and steering effort is massive. So when we really need to get around these fields quick when we're working with the animals, we only have these on when we need to, and that's in the winter. Now, every machine is going to be different, and this 750 will move pretty fast even with a set of tracks on it. But if you combine the reduced handling, increased steering effort, decreased top-end speed, if you don't really need all that traction, you may find your machine is just not as much fun to ride as it is with a set of wheels. Just something else to think about before you go and shell the money out. Now, when you buy a set of tracks, it's going to be specific to the machine you ride, and the main difference is going to be in this drive sprocket here. So it's just like the drive sprocket you have up at the front of your rear suspension. It's a plastic material that's designed to be pretty much indestructible even at low temperatures. If I wanted to take this set of tracks and put them on my 400, I would have to buy a different set of mounting hardware for it, because the different gearing and power of this machine compared to my 400 is going to require a different size drive sprocket. Now, in terms of maintenance, it's not rocket science, but it's like anything else. The better you maintain it, the longer you're going to last, and with something that's expensive, you want to make sure you do that. So, a lot of the same things you'd want to do on your rear suspension. You want to keep it clean, you want to keep dirt and grit out, You want to make sure that all your bolts are tight. You want to pay attention to the hub bolt, so that's in behind this center cap. You know what? You want to pull that cap off maybe every year and make sure that there's no metal shavings in there, that the bolt is torqued properly, and that it's greased. You know, just like on your snowmobile, you want to keep an eye on the idler wheels as well. You want to make sure that the bearings are okay. You want to periodically pull those hubcaps off, make sure there isn't a lot of excess grit and road salt and things like that. You know, and if you got missing hubcaps, you want to replace them, because again, they're going to make those bearings last longer. And just like the track on your sled, you want to inspect it, you know, at the beginning and end of the season. You want to look for tears and missing lugs, things like that. But you also want to make sure that you've got the right track tension set. So make sure you follow the manufacturer's recommendations for your tracks. So they're super expensive, and they're really going to cut down on the handling and really increase the steering effort. But if you got the money, a set of tracks will let you go absolutely anywhere. All right, so that's it for this video. Brian, thanks for your question. I hope that helps you out a little bit. If you liked that video, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet and you're into snowmobiles, particularly older snowmobiles or motorsports, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel. If you click that little bell icon, you'll get notified whenever I post a new video. Until next time, I'm David Clark. Thanks for taking the time to watch. All right, so subscribe to the channel and you're into snowmobiles, you're into the difference in steering effort and handling is really substantial. So we always take these tracks off in the warmer